These two facts, that most women knew the state pension age was increasing and that letters aren't as significant as the Ombudsman says, as well as other reasons, have informed our conclusion that there should be no scheme of financial compensation to 1950s-born women in response to the Ombudsman's report. The Ombudsman says that as a matter of principle, redress and compensation should normally reflect individual impact. However, the report itself acknowledges that assessing the individual circumstances of 3.5 million women born in the 1950s would have a significant cost and administrative burden. It's taken the Ombudsman nearly 6 years to investigate the circumstances of 6 sample complaints. For the DWP to set up a scheme and invite 3.5 million women to set out their detailed personal circumstances would take thousands of staff years to process. Even if there was a scheme where women could self-certify that they weren't aware of changes to their state pension age and that they've suffered as a result, it would be impossible to verify the information provided. So the alternative put forward in the report is for a flat rate compensation scheme at level 4 of the Ombudsman's scale of injustice. This would provide £1,000 to £2,950 per person at a total cost of between £3.5 and £10.5 billion. Given the vast majority of women knew the state pension age was increasing, the government does not believe paying a flat rate to all women at a cost of up to £10.5 billion would be a fair or proportionate use of taxpayers' money.
When it was politically convenient to do so, the Labour Secretary of State chose to back and support WASPy women. Today she chooses to betray them. When the public voted for change instead, they've been given more of the same. Shame on them. Mr. Speaker, if the Secretary of State is so confident in her position, then why does she not bring a vote to this House to let us all decide?
I'm sure you can have a vote in the Scottish Parliament if the SNP government decides to do that.
Vicky Slay.
Today's decision that the WASPy women won't receive justice and what is rightfully theirs is wrong and horrifying. I've campaigned alongside WASPy women at protests, marches and rallies, both as a candidate and also as an MP. They have my solidarity and they always will do. These WASPy women deserve what is rightfully theirs. The Labour Party committed to this in the 2019 manifesto, and we should still be committed to it now, today.
And in the framing of my question to the Secretary of State, firstly I'd like to say I'm appalled at this announcement, and I have campaigned with WASPy women, as have many parliamentary colleagues, and this is an incredible letdown. WASPy women, in my opinion, certainly do not need words of disappointment, and they certainly do not need hollow statements. What they need is justice. Does the Secretary of State not agree with that?
I believe that this is a difficult decision, but the right and fair one. We accept that there has been maladministration, that those letters, once we've decided, the department had decided they should have been sent out earlier. But for the reasons I have explained, we do not accept the Ombudsman's approach to injustice or to remedy and compensation. We do have to take difficult decisions in government, but this is about what I think is right and fair, and I'm very happy to meet my honourable friend to discuss that with him in more detail if he would so wish.
Liberal Democrat spokesperson Steve Darling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I think, first of all, I think it's important that, for the record, the Liberal Democrats played a significant part in government in bringing about the triple lock for our pensions, and I think it's important that people acknowledge that. This is nothing short of a betrayal of WASPy women. And I know in my own constituency of Torbay and throughout the United Kingdom, there will be millions of women who are shocked and horrified at this decision by the government. The fact that they have inherited and awful state of our economy is no excuse. The fact that these women are actually being hit by the mistakes of the Tories and the Labour government are now using that as a shield is utterly wrong-headed, and I would ask the Secretary of State to reflect on this decision. This has gone to the Ombudsman for their considered review, and Liberal Democrats have long supported the findings of the Ombudsman. I am shocked that the government is taking a pick and mix approach with the Ombudsman findings, and therefore us Liberal Democrats here would ask the Minister to reconsider this decision seriously.
Secretary of State.
I would gently say to the honourable gentleman, who I know wasn't in this House at the time, that the decision to accelerate the increase in the state pension age in 2011 was taken by the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition government, and it was that angered and annoyed many women and led to the WASPI campaign. We do accept that there was a 28-month delay in sending letters out, and we apologise for that. But we do not agree to the Ombudsman's approach to injustice or to remedy. When only we don't believe the letters would have had an impact on most, as the Ombudsman said, and when 90% of women knew that the state pension age was increasing, we cannot accept that flat rate of payment of up to £10.5 billion is a fair or appropriate use of taxpayers' money. I know that will disappoint some women born in the 1950s, but we believe it is the right and the fair decision.
Current session love.
One of the very first constituents who came to me after I was elected in 2017 was Helen, whose decision on her financial future was taken just before she received the letter that came late. So it did have an impact on her. It also had an impact on the thousands of WASPI women in my constituency who've contacted me over the past 7.5 years. So can I ask the Secretary of State, how does she think that any pensioner in this country now, regardless of the triple lock, which was the creation of the Liberal Democrats with the Conservatives, regardless of that, how will they have faith in a government which has taken away their winter fuel allowance and now doesn't respect the injustice that was done to them in not compensating the WASPI women?
Secretary of State.
I think a commitment to a pensions triple lock that will deliver an increase in the new state pension of £470 from this April.